Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost, and today we're going to be doing something quite different here on this channel. Today we're going to be doing a room tour. Now you may be asking, why do a room tour? There's a lot of room tour videos all over YouTube. Well, quite frankly, it's just a lot of fun to make a video like this, and it's a great way to show off your setup to the rest of the world. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the room that I basically do pretty much everything, where I go ahead and record video, live stream, and play video games. So without any further ado, let's head inside. There's a lot of stuff for us to look at here in this room, so let's go ahead and first start off by looking at the game shelves here in the corner. This is where I store all my physical copies of every game that I own. Every single physical game is right here on one of these two bookshelves, and as you can see, over the years I have accumulated a big number of physical games from a multitude of different systems. But you might also be asking, what are these boxes on the bottom shelf of that big bookshelf of yours? Well, these shoeboxes here actually store all my loose cartridges for systems like the Nintendo 64, the Super Nintendo, and NES. I find using shoeboxes like this is a very inexpensive and yet good way to store all your old cartridges. That way you can get to them very easily, and this also keeps them from getting dusty as well. I've been using shoeboxes like these to store all my old cartridges for years, and I have had no issues whatsoever. I would like to get something that looks a little bit nicer on a shelf, but for a very quick and inexpensive option, shoeboxes have been my go-to answer for a lot of my loose cartridges. I also have this little 3-drawer separating bin here on the very bottom as well, which is mainly used for a lot of portable stuff, so any kind of Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games, I can go ahead and put in these little shelves, along with any kind of little Poké Walkers or chargers, a Game Boy Advance, like you name it. So that's what this little device here on the bottom of the bookshelf is used for as well. And now we come to the desk setup here, and this is where I do pretty much a majority of my work. I'll record most of my stuff here in this space, I'll live stream here, I'll do personal work at one of my two computers, so I spend a majority of my time in this room right here at this desk. So I want to go ahead and take a look at this laptop here first on the side. This is my secondary machine. This Asus laptop I mainly use for web browsing. I can do some PC gaming on it, and I can record and edit videos on this device as well. In fact, if you've seen a majority of the Splatoon multiplayer episodes from that Let's Play, they were actually edited pretty much on this laptop. The only real episodes I left to edit on the desktop here was the Splatfest video. So this thing does a pretty good job at recording and editing video, but I do pretty much a majority of my work, all my live streaming and recording stuff right here on one of these two displays. These here are hooked up to my main PC, which is where I spend a majority of my time working on here in this room. The tower sitting next to my desk here has been my main computer I've been using to do all of my recordings, editing, and live streaming for the past couple months, and I've been very happy with the performance I've been able to get out of this tower. Inside of this machine, I am running Windows 10 Pro on an Intel Core i7-6700K processor with a NVIDIA GTX 1080 graphics card. It has 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I have 4 hard drives installed in the computer. One of these drives is a solid state drive just for running Windows and other programs. I've been very happy with the performance that this computer has been able to give me, and I was very happy I was able to build this machine, as building it not only gave me the experience of putting together a computer myself, but it also allowed me to have a much bigger flexibility on what I wanted to do, what kind of parts I wanted to put inside this machine, and the upgrade options I can choose for the future as well. I'm running 2 monitors with this computer, that way it helps with productivity, so I'm always using 2 screens whenever I'm doing any kind of recording, editing, or live streaming, because being able to use 2 screens allows me to go ahead and just see everything on one that I need. So for editing, for example, I can put all of my timeline information on one screen and then watch the video back in full screen on the other display. That way I can see exactly how the final video is going to look, while at the same time still having enough screen space to do all my work with no problems. I also use this kind of setup to play any kind of PC games, console games, you name it. I can easily play them from the comfort of my desk chair and get a very low response time, as both of these computer monitors have about a 5 millisecond input delay, which is very, very low. So I've been mainly doing a lot of my console gaming over here at my desk. That way I can go ahead and play games that need very fast response times, like rhythm games for example, without really having any issues whatsoever, and it's been a very nice and comfortable experience. I'm always sitting at this desk as well whenever I'm doing any kind of recordings. That way I can go ahead and play the game in front of me on one screen, and then be able to look out at the corner of my eye and monitor everything on the screen next to me as well. I also do this for live streaming. That way, if anything goes wrong, I can catch it immediately and start working out any bugs I'm experiencing. You may have noticed a webcam on top of one of my monitors, but you never really see me use it. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the quality of this webcam. And this is the quality that my webcam can go ahead and record in. It's a 1080p webcam that has some pretty good picture quality, to be honest, and I mainly use this to talk to people on Skype, because I don't really find that much of a need to film myself when doing a lot of my recordings, although I have used this before in a blindfold challenge video I did in Sonic Adventure 2, so you can see the quality of the webcam in that video as well. Now, the audio you're hearing is actually from a Blue Yeti microphone. It's the microphone I've been using a lot for Surface microphone purposes. You actually heard me use this microphone in the Nintendo Switch unboxing, because this has a very nice, clear, rich sound that's also really good for far away. Now also, if I'm playing a PC game with a lot of mouse and keyboard control, obviously it's not gonna be good, because you can hear all the clicking in the background. So I have a headset right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and swap over to it now. So all the audio you're hearing is being recorded off of the headset microphone, which it's a pretty good Sennheiser headset, and I will mainly use this once again for like Skype and Discord calls. So I'll use this just to talk to people online. I don't really use it for recording purposes, but it's a very nice, useful little headset I'll use for things like that as well. It has online controls, so you can go ahead and mute yourself, you can go ahead and adjust the volume. So it's a very useful thing that I will use mainly when just talking to friends. I want to go ahead and take a look at my laptop once again real quick, as I briefly talked about it before in the video, but I want to go ahead and talk about what's inside of this computer. Inside of this Asus ROG laptop, I have an Intel Core i7 6700HQ processor, and it has a GTX 1060 graphics card inside of it with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then 2 drives inside of it, one of them once again being a solid state drive for Windows along with other programs. And this laptop is a very solid yet good machine to be able to use while out and about, because I can do just about anything on this machine that I can also do on my desktop. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I have done some editing on this laptop before, and some of those videos I have posted on my channel, so you have seen the videos don't look any different whatsoever compared to the videos that I can go ahead and produce on my desktop computer. So it's been a very nice experience to have a portable machine like this, but I can also game on this laptop as well and run just about any game that I have in my Steam library on this machine with no issues whatsoever. The machine can get loud and get kind of warm as well, but I don't really game on this laptop all too much. But when I do, I make sure I'm in an environment where I can go ahead and put on headphones so I don't have to hear the fans ramp up, while at the same time, I'm not in an area that's going to overheat the laptop. Like, I'm not going to be playing PC games outside. I've mainly been using this laptop right now as a secondary machine to complement my desktop. That way, when I'm working on something on my desktop, when this has to sit and do something, I could just go ahead and turn around and use my laptop. And I've also been using this machine when I've been traveling as well. This here is the entertainment center. This is where I have a majority of my consoles set up and all hooked up to my 32-inch television. I don't have every single one of my game consoles hooked up here, as there's not enough room in this entertainment center for all of them, but I have 11 consoles set up and all ready to be played here on this entertainment center. Yes, 11 systems. I have a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation TV hidden behind my television, but those are both hooked up and ready to be played. When I want to play a game on a bigger display, kick back on the couch, turn on some speakers, and get comfortable, I'll be playing my games on this setup here with my nice 1080p 32-inch television. It's an older display, but I'm very happy with it because it has a pretty low response time, so I don't really have any input delay issues on video games, while at the same time, I do like all the features that this television has. It has some nice colors to it. It has 3 HDMI inputs, so I can have all my consoles hooked up to one input, a computer on another one, and I can still have a free HDMI slot open in case I need to hook up something else to this television on the fly. Say my AverMedia card hooking up to my television for component sources. I can also go ahead and move the television at will because it's actually set on a swivel stand, so if I'm sitting at my desk, I can go ahead and turn the television and have it facing my desk instead of facing the couch, so it's a very flexible setup. It is an old television and I would like to update it here at some point, but this television has served me well over the years. I have all of my HD systems hooked up to a variety of HDMI switchers. Now these HDMI switchers allow me to go ahead and have everything hooked up to one HDMI input on both my TV and my capture card. I actually split the signal between my television and capture card using an HDMI splitter. That way I don't have to mess with cords, and all I need to do is just select the right input on my HDMI switchers, and then I can go ahead and play my games on either a capture card or my television in an instant. It is very convenient. I can either go ahead and change the inputs on my HDMI switcher with the remote control, or I can go ahead and do a manual switching by pressing the button on the HDMI switcher to switch between inputs as well. I recommend anyone who has a lot of consoles set up to definitely pick up any kind of switching boxes. Since I use a lot of HDMI systems, I will definitely be recommending HDMI switchers for this purpose. I have HDMI switchers that are powered, and I heard powered switchers are supposed to be better than unpowered. That way you don't have any kind of image issues, but I haven't had any issues whatsoever using these HDMI switchers, and it's made my life a lot easier when it comes to just playing these HD consoles on my television and my capture card with no issues whatsoever, and there's a lot less wires to deal with. Now in front of this window, you might have noticed this giant tube television, and you might be wondering, why do I have a tube television in this room, especially when most of my stuff is connected via HDMI, an input that these old tube televisions do not support anymore? Well, the reason being is because I wanted one of these televisions to be using for my old retro consoles, so I'll hook up systems to this that I wouldn't want to play on a newer HD television. So I use this CRT television for my Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, NES, GameCube, any system that can connect via either a composite or an S-video source, I hook up to this television. And the reason being is because these televisions were designed for these older game consoles in mind. If you hook up, say, a NES to a new television, for example, it's not going to really work all that well on that television. These older game consoles output in a 240p resolution. Now this is a older resolution that was used for CRT televisions in mind, and newer HD televisions do not recognize 240p properly. That either won't work whatsoever, or it'll take that 240p image and will recognize it as 480i. So you notice your old games hooked up to a new television looking a lot muddier and also maybe having flickering issues that weren't there on older CRT televisions. So that is one reason why I have one of these televisions lying around. That way I can play these games the way that they were designed without having to use any kind of upscalers or having any kind of HD mods done to my game consoles. Another reason why I have this television is for light gun games. Now if you try to play a light gun game on a HD television, this is not going to work whatsoever, as the HD televisions do not have the same refresh timings along with the same kind of lighting technologies as old CRT televisions have. So light guns don't work with these newer displays whatsoever. So I have a CRT television set up to play all these kind of light gun games with no issues whatsoever. If I didn't have one of these televisions around, I wouldn't be able to play light gun games at all. Ever since I put this CRT television in this room, I've been doing more and more of my retro gaming on this display. Since this has no input delay whatsoever, I've been having a much easier time playing a lot of my older games now on this CRT television. The fact that this television was also designed for these older 240p game consoles in mind, I can go ahead and play games on here and view them the same way as I did growing up. It looks very crisp and clear, and what's nice about this television is that it can accept composite, S-video, and even component sources. So any kind of system that can output at the most of 480i, I can hook up to this television and it's going to look very crisp and clear. So I've been doing more and more retro gaming on this display, as it's the best way for me right now to be playing all my older systems on a television without having any kind of upscalers in my setup. The stand that this CRT television of mine is sitting on is also where I store all my game controllers. Now, it's not the most organized thing in the world, but you can go ahead and open up one of these two drawers and you can find basically all the different controllers you'll need for each system in this room. It's not the cleanest way to store my controllers, but I can easily get access to any controller that I'll need for any system in this room within a matter of seconds. So it's very convenient for me to just go ahead and grab whatever controller I need for the system I want to play. And now we've come to my comfy couch here. Well, comfy might be overselling it a little bit. This is a pretty old futon that I've had for a couple years, and quite honestly, it is starting to show its age, but it gets the job done, and I sit here primarily when I play games on my 32-inch television, my main display. Right behind me here, as you can see, I have a couple different plushes. One of my favorites here being my lilac plush. It's one of the biggest ones I have, and one of the softest ones too. So I'll take my little plushes here, and I'll display them right behind me on the futon. That way they're not in the way, while at the same time, you can still easily see them here right behind me. And it makes for a very nice set piece here in the room. Right above me here, I have my amiibos. Now, these aren't all my amiibos. As you've seen before, some of my amiibos are also on my bookshelf. But the ones above the couch here are some of my favorites I like to display and have easy access to for playing games with them. So I like to keep a lot of my personal favorite amiibos out in the front of this collection here on the shelf. So I'll have my Mario, my Sonic, Link, Pac-Man. I'll have those amiibos out in front. That way they're easy access, and like I said before, there's some of my favorite amiibos that I want to go ahead and display right up front. So this shelf here has been a very sturdy solution for displaying more amiibos, and I have another one just like it that I may also hang up in the room. If I have too many amiibos I have no more room for, I'll go ahead and install a second shelf, just like the one above this couch here. Now, off to the side of this couch, I do have a little end table. This table I have sitting next to my couch is where I store all my other game consoles that can't be hooked up to my entertainment center right now, which is the Nintendo Switch, Xbox 360, the NES, and I also have my Wii U gamepad over here as well. Now, this little table, I can go ahead and just store things here if I wanted to when playing games on my couch. So I could put a drink on this table, put down my cell phone, controllers, you name it. But I also use this table as a charging station as well, as one of the outlets in this room is actually hooked up to a light switch. So I can go ahead and flip that light switch on and off to turn on and off the power from that said outlet. So I have a bunch of different systems hooked up to that outlet via a surge protector, and I'll just flip on the power to that switch. That way I can go ahead and charge things like my Wii U gamepad, cell phone, controllers, 3DS, Vita, you name it. I can just charge whatever I need to on the fly. And that's pretty much what I've been using this space for. It's mainly been used as a charging station right now for all my different devices. And that's my setup for you. So as you can see, it's very streamlined, and I'm very happy with how everything came together here in this room. But over time, things do change. When I add more games to my collection, more amiibos come into the room. I have new systems to play around with and new computer gear to add to the collection as well, like capture cards or new computers to use in general. I'm always changing my setup accordingly. So this is how my setup looks now, but over time it could be drastically different. But as of right now, I'm very happy with how everything turned out. It's very easy for me just to sit down, pop a game in, turn on the system, and I could be playing my games
just like that. I don't have to do really too much for the setup, and I'm very happy with how everything turned out. For recording video, for live streaming, and just simply sitting on a couch and playing video games, I'm very happy with this setup. And it's something that I do like playing around with, but for right now, I'm very happy with how everything turned out. So with that said, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.